Here's one little trick that'll make your postcard photos look better on eBay. Hey guys, Ken here. Welcome back to the channel. I'm trying a new audio technique. Let me know in the comments what you think. Instead of wearing the lapel like right here on my shirt, I decided to mount it right to my my webcam, on the top of my webcam. So I don't know, it sounds to me a little bit better. Let me know in the comments what you think as compared to other videos that I've done with, the lapel mic right here. I'm just trying to get the best quality audio that I possibly can for you guys. But on this video, I wanted to share a little trick with you that I do with my postcards to where it makes the cards look a little bit better, and more importantly, it doesn't cut off important text on the card that would get cut off if I did it the normal way. Okay, let me explain. Now, I use what is it called? An Epson ES400 document scanner. If you'd like to pick one of these up, I got to warn you, they're not cheap, but these saved me a ton of time when it comes to scanning my postcards for eBay. I can get a lot more postcards listed faster on eBay by using this scanner rather than taking everything into the studio and photographing it. But what I normally do with my Epson ES400 is I will take a postcard like this. Whenever you get a postcard like this, now this is a racetrack in California, in Los Angeles, okay, and it's a linen card. But as you notice, I don't know if you can see, the text is right there at the top. See how it's right at the top edge? And sometimes that'll happen with postcards. You'll get text at the very top edge and sometimes at the bottom. This is what I call an identifier, because basically it tells what's going on in the postcard. Okay, it tells you what it's about, where's the location, what the subject matter is. And those are important things that your buyers need to know when they're buying your postcards. They need to know that stuff. So what I've been doing in the past with my scanner is to get it to scan right side up, I actually have to put the card in upside down and backwards like this. In other words, when it scans, it'll be put in the tray like this, and then it'll scan like this and feed through like that. Okay? And that will normally make the postcard show up in the software and in the image that I take into Photoshop, and it'll make it right side up like this. Okay, but one of the things I noticed when I first started using this scanner was the fact that when you get text that's right at the top like that, right at the top edge, if you put it in that way normally like this, upside down and backwards, what happens is it goes through the scanner and then it scans it properly. But because of the way I've got it set up to where my tray sits a little bit, just about maybe quarter of an inch outside the edges of the postcard. So it's a nice even, crop, and I don't have to crop it any further. What happens is it ends up cutting off the text. Okay, it will take, text like this at the top, and it'll like chop it in half. And then what happens is you can't read it. I mean, you can read some of it, but you can't read a lot of it. And that could cause a problem when you're trying to sell a postcard and your buyer's looking at it and go, what does it say? I can't read it. The text is cut off. So here's a little trick that you can do with your postcards. Now, if you have an Epson scanner or any kind of document scanner, I don't know how you have it set up in your operation, but for me, like I said, when I scan things normally, it goes in upside down and backwards. So what you've got to do to keep that text from not getting cut off is simply do this. Instead of putting it in upside down and backwards, put it right side up. Here we go. Right side up and backwards. In other words, instead of putting the card this way in the tray, okay, what I want to do is just flip it up and scan it right side up and backwards like that. And when it does that, it will scan upside down, because when you put it in like this, it's going to feed through and then it's going to scan actually upside down, because you're doing that so you don't cut the text off at the top so people can read it. And when you take it into Photoshop or whatever photo manipulation program you're using, to do some color correction, if you're doing that, then what you'll have to do is either flip it in Photoshop. You can do a 180-degree turn in Photoshop and it'll flip it. Or you can actually flip it in eBay. That has a setting there where if you click on it, it'll spin the card. It'll spin the image to where you can flip it upside down. So whichever way you want to do it works. I normally do it in Photoshop because since I've got the card in Photoshop anyway, well, then I'll just take care of it there rather than have to mess with it when it gets into eBay. But you can do it either way. It'll work either way. But that's just a little trick that I use so that, like I said, the card doesn't get cut off, the text at the top. Now, sometimes you're going to have a card that has text both at the top and the bottom. And you have to make a determination as to which text, which group of text, which line of text is most important. And that will determine which way you scan your card. Okay, now if it has anything to do with the location of the card, what it is, the subject matter, and it just talks about some other things on the bottom, then I would go ahead and flip the card up, like I said, instead of putting it in like this, I would go ahead and go like this, and it will flip the card upside down in the scan, and then you can just reverse it. You can just flip it back in either Photoshop or eBay. But you have to make a determination as to what your buyer sees and which is most important. Okay, sometimes you got to do that. Okay, but I just wanted to share that quick technique with you because when I first started doing this, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was like, it's cutting the text off. And I was changing my settings. I was widening the settings on the Epson. Even though I was widening the settings, okay, what was happening is it was still cutting the text off because of where it lays at the top of the tray and where it scans it. It was actually still cutting the text off. Now, sometimes, you can actually look at this in the software in the preview when it brings up the preview. If you put it in normally like this, okay, and it scans it, the proper way, sometimes, even though it's at the very top, there is enough room at the top where you can still read the line of text, okay, and then it's okay to scan it that way. But if it's ever really at the very top like that, you got to take a look at it and go, well, probably gonna have to flip this one. So I just wanted to share that with you because one of the things you don't want to do is you don't want to have your customer looking at it and go, I can't read this. What kind of card is this? The text is cut off, and as a result, they may not buy your card. Well, that's what I have for you today, guys. I hope you got something out of this. If you did, make sure you smash that like button. It helps the channel, and I appreciate it. And I got to go now, but you guys have a great day, and we'll see you on the next video. Take care, and bye for now.